When they see me, they know that every day when I'm breathing, it's for us to go farther. You know, every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. You know, I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Ain't that what we're supposed to do? I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody's going to clean it up.
And now he's been promoted. His job, principal.
Good morning, everyone. This is Uche Njoku, Sneaker Principal, and welcome to this episode of the the Sneaker Principal podcast. Listen, my dyslexia is for real. Often, the words in my head and what comes out of my mouth are two different things. But it's been a lifelong journey, and it hasn't stopped me from being who I am today, so it's all good. So this is the Sneaker Principal podcast. So in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about my 5-month journey or marathon at PSIS 224. This is a school that I am currently the interim acting principal at here in New York City, in District 7, in the Bronx. And it's been quite a journey. Last April, I'll be honest with you, I'd never even heard of the school. And, when an opportunity came up, I was offered the school as an opportunity to do some good work. And I don't shy away from good work. I have always believed that, for me, this journey of being a school leader has required that I go into the most complex of situations, even spaces where my skill sets might not be fully complete in being able to walk in and do what I do or what I need to do. I've decided that, you know what, sometimes you got to jump on a bus and build, or better yet, fix the bus as you're driving the bus. And this is definitely one of those situations. So in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about the journey, the beginning, how what that was like, going through the process of rebranding the school, facing challenges, the things that weren't quite apparent in the beginning, they became very evident. The fight to preserve and keep the history of a school, and to really change the narrative about it. And then what have I learned? What have I learned through this process? Because one thing is beautiful about being an educator is that you're always learning something, and as well as teaching something. But educators, real educators, those who are really about this craft, learn way more than we ever teach. Because again, that's how we become better teachers. You learn, you integrate what you've learned into your practice, and you just evolve and you become better at what you do. And anyone who's been in this profession can really understand that. So let's get to the beginning. My initial observations and the challenges that existed at PSIS 224 when I first found out about it. So one of the first things that I did, and I have to be definitely give much gratitude to my superintendent, Dr. Roberto Padilla, was being given the opportunity to do a desk audit of the school. And I'll be honest with you, I've done miniature desk audits, but this is the first time where I went completely head in and said, okay, I'm going to commit days to just studying a school. So those of you who don't know what desk audit is, this is my definition. This is where you sit down with the data and you literally spend time, work time, really reviewing data, not sitting in a meeting, not going to a PD, and looking at school data as an exercise, or you're trying to find some particular piece of information to fulfill a report or some compliance piece. I'm talking about saying, okay, here's a school, here's a space. I'm going to treat it like a mystery. I want to learn as much as I can about this space, this school. And I was looking at test scores, and I was looking at historical data as far as attendance, looking at, the history of occurrences at the school, behavioral, discipline, everything, the hiring trends, who's been there for how long, anything I can get my hands on, and we're talking about general information, general public information. And one thing about public schools is this: it's out there. There's very little that you cannot access. If you want to see the past budgets, you can find it right online. If you want to know the history of the school, who's led the school, where the school started, there are several websites that will they provide parents with data about a school. So I went through all that, and I sat in a small little office, coffee and my laptop, and I just was grinding for about 5 days. I was grinding for 5 days, looking at data. Okay, what is this? And then and whenever I could, I would reach out to people, colleagues, and people that had more information and say, hey, what do you know about this school? What do you know about this? I read a lot of articles, and ISPS 24 had quite a few news reports over the years that were very interesting. So I did all that because I wanted to make sure I had a very clear understanding. I was fully immersed in this school. So when I walked in there, I wasn't walking in there blind. I wasn't walking in there not knowing, or trying to figure things out on the ground. So it's like to go into battle. You don't go into battle or into any kind of mission without knowing what is the landscape you're walking into. What is the terrain, what has happened in these spaces historically, and that's how I approached it. And then once I got in, it was interesting because there were no moments where I was like, oh my God, this is not what I expected. As I expected. And as a turnaround school, this is a space that, you're walking in there and you know what the mission is. This school has struggled historically, academically, performance-wise, attendance-wise, and you're walking in there trying to find a way to solve those problems so the school could be back on track, moving forward, closing the achievement gap, and really being an amazing space for kids. And I'll be honest with you, when I did my audit, what I saw was just more on lines of neglect. Often schools in major cities have a lot of turnaround, and more so recently than in its past. In the past, you can have schools where you might have a school leader who's been there for, we're talking about 10, 20 years. That level of stability, especially if the school leader knows what they're doing, it puts the school in a good space, a good footing. But also, when you have a space where, there's been a lot of transition, and not only that, not just transition leadership, but just also transition in culture. And things are just not the way they used to be. It impacts school communities and it permeates through the community. People just are having a harder time maintaining and building culture. And these are things that I saw. But the great thing about it, when I walked in, I didn't see a school that was like crazy. And I've been in spaces where you walked in and you were like, okay, oh boy, what's going to happen today? I just saw a space that just needed a bit more love. Not to say those who were there hadn't loved it, but intentional. Where you're building community, where you're bringing together parents and students and teachers to say, listen, what do we want here? Where do we want to go? Who do we want to be? Regardless of the narrative, of that's been written out there about us. There's no denying, and this is data that you can find anywhere. ISPS 224 has been considered the lowest performing middle school in District 7 in the South Bronx for a very long time. And not only that, I found an article that listed, PSIS 224 as one of the bottom performing schools, bottom 100 performing schools in New York City. And a system that has over 1,600 schools, that is not a good look. But again, I couldn't find a thing to say like, oh my God, this is a horrible place. You know, it was just a space that just needed some re-envisioning, you know, some rebranding, some, you know, redefining the narrative. So as I learned the school community, learned the staff, learned the parents, learned the kids, one of the things that popped into my head off the bat was, I'm tired of hearing 224 is a problem. I'm tired of hearing the narrative that 224 is a space that is not a good space. So I went head deep in, you know, into rebranding. I made that my part-time job, spending time at home, you know, looking at the school and thinking about, you know, how to redress the school, how to go beyond a fresh paint of coat to really changing perceptions about the school. So one of the things that came to me, the kids were not very keen on the school logo as well as the staff and the school mascot. And I was like, you know, those are low-lying fruits. Those are things that you can reach and pluck and you know, and make a difference with really quickly. So I had a competition, you know, that was done through the art classroom with Miss B. And I was like, listen, I need a new school logo and I need a new school mascot, but I want to come from the kids. So this is the art class and the kids, she told the kids and the kids got jumped onto it. And within 2 weeks or so, you know, we had a new mascot. We were no longer the cheetahs, we were not the panthers. And this was 100% from the kids. It had nothing to do with the adults. You know, it had nothing to do with me. It was the kids. You know, I think it came out to lions and panthers, and the kids picked panthers, specifically Black Panthers. And I thought that was awesome because now there's ownership there. There's been conversation, there's been communication amongst the children, and they know, like, this is what we picked. And then there was a contest for a new logo. Part of my rebranding was, you know, coming up with new core values, but also being intentional and putting into the universe what we want to see, you know, what I wanted to see. So my thing was, you know, the job is not to just turn the school around, but to make the school the best middle school in District 7 and in New York City. So that word best, you know, I sat and thought about it, and I was like, how do I take the word best and make sure it's in our logo? So psychologically, people would see it and say, whoa, best. But also, for those of us in the school community, we would know what it meant beyond just the word best as an adjective. So came up with the core values: belief, excel, strive, and trust. Because I wanted the school community to believe in itself. I wanted students, the teachers, the parents to truly believe in what we're doing, you know. And then excel. I tell students all the time, I don't need you to be perfect. This work that we're doing has nothing to do with perfection. It has everything to do with excellence. And the thing I love about excellence is very personal. You know, being your best, pushing beyond your best, striving for excellence, it can only be defined by you. So E for excel, S for strive, keep moving forward, fall forward, fail forward, but keep striving towards, you know, what that thing that we want as a community, you know, to be, you know, seen as a place where children love to be, being seen as a place where children are successful, teachers are successful, and we're doing good work towards closing the achievement gap. So strive was for the S, and then T, trust. You got to trust the system. I'm sorry, not trust the system, trust the process. You have to trust the process. You know, and not only that, students need to trust teachers, teachers need to trust students, you know, and parents as well. We need to trust teachers and students, and they have to trust the school, the principal. Trust has to be at the core of what we're doing. So took the new core value, you know, we had a new mission, a new vision, and the vision was aligned with the district. And then, you know, we aligned our school colors with the district colors. You know, we have a new logo, which was a paw print designed by a 7th grader. And we ran with it, you know, repainting the classrooms and putting up murals in the hallways. You know, I'm from California, so I put up a Nipsey Hussle quote, and I put a Tupac quote. And the Tupac quote directly comes from the words you hear at the beginning of my podcast, you know. be, about sparking the brain, doing something in the community to really change the world. So, and then we have Sotomayor, and we have Nelson Mandela, and Cesar Chavez, Sonia Sanchez, and more murals are coming. But I want to create a space when kids walk through, they were in awe. But not only that, the quotes on the wall eventually would seep into their minds and be part of the blood vein and the heartbeat of the school. So branding has been the thing, and then not only that, we're the science school for exploration and discovery. And I said, you know what, we're going to drop the science. I mean, publicly, we're going to drop, not officially, but we're in the works. Drop the science school of and just be exploration and discovery. Because at the end of the day, what is it that we want our kids to do other than explore and discover this world and grow in that process? So now, my correspondences, our logos, our signage, you only see exploration and discovery MS 224, not PSIS 224, public school intermediary school 224. That's too much. MS 224, middle school 224, and embracing that, and using all of this to change the narrative. And so that's a snippet of the rebranding process. But now, the unseen hurdles. There were definitely some unseen hurdles. When I did the desk audit, I thought to myself, man, these numbers, the school performance, which at the time was about 24% proficiency in mathematics, which for me says that 76% of our students are not proficient. Then 5% proficiency in math, which means 95% of our students are not proficient in math. And I saw these numbers, and I was like, wait a minute. This has been the story for some time now. And not only that, the school is in state receivership. And meaning that the school is on the list from the state and is being given a lot of supports because it's a very low performing school. And I remember reading the desk audit and saying to myself, man, if we're not careful, this school could be closed at any given time. And then that became the narrative, not narrative, the reality. Not only are we in a space, or am I in a space of turning the school around, working with my colleagues and but also now keeping the school open. Because again, when a school is not doing well and it becomes the ongoing theme for a number of years, one of the options is to close the school down and rebuild, put something else new in there. They can serve the community. They can service the community. And me being the person that I am and falling in love with the school community and the community as a whole, I was like, no. We got to find a way to keep the school open. It's not just about turning around. It's also now about redefining. Putting into existence something to make it very clear that this school is worthy of continuing to serve this community. One of the things that I constantly say is, if you want to destroy if you want to destroy a community, get rid of one or three things, or even worse, to get rid of three things. Get rid of the hospitals, then the community cannot heal itself. Then you have people who are literally dying because they can't get medical support and service. You get rid of grocery stores. So then what we're putting into our bodies is actually exacerbating and killing us because we can't get fresh vegetables and healthy foods. Then you close schools down. You're shutting down our minds. You're taking hope away from us. Our ability to dream is diminished because the mind has to grow. And school is one of those places where you pour into children, you pour into the community. So for me as a school leader, as a principal, as a teacher, at my core, the thought of school closure was something that I was like, no, can't happen. We got to find a way. But now the story is different now. It's not just about how do we, turn the school around. It's about how do we keep these doors open for the foreseeable future. And I had to rally. I had to rally the staff. I had to rally the community, even talk to the students. This is what we're doing here. And one thing that I saw that gave me extreme hope is the fact that every single person, you know, exhibited the same passion that I have. Every single person said, okay, now what do we do? How do we do this? And there was a collective effort that went into play. You know, at the beginning of the summer, we were under-enrolled by almost 70 children. I had staff who worked over the summer, giving up a lot of valuable vacation time to say, hey, we're going to pound the pavements, we're going to go into the community and recruit students so that we can meet our enrollment. You know, 70 kids is a huge gap to fill, but we did it. We did it. We've met our enrollment. We're off by like one kid, you know. And again, that's a testament to a community that says, no, we're not giving up. We're gonna make this happen. So so that's been, you know, incredible. You know, this fight to preserve who we are, this school. There are teachers in the school who've been here for a very long time who are just saying, listen, this is the work now, you know, including pushing our kids academically, making sure that they're getting the best possible product that we could provide. And it's a process. One of the things that occurred that I believe had to happen to ensure that we had a fighting chance is to make sure that the world can see what we're doing. I'm a believer that if people don't know what you're doing, then it's not happening. And one of the things that I will share with school leaders is when you're doing good work or when the community is doing great work, you have to make sure that the community, the greater community knows about it, that leadership in the system knows about it. And one of the things that I did do is I campaigned. I really did campaign to get the Chancellor of the New York City schools, New York City public schools, to come visit our school, because I wanted to highlight what we're doing. I knew that if I can get the right eyeballs on our school, that doors would open. You know, there would be support for what we're doing. Because again, if you walked in here May 1st of 2023 and you walked in October 5th of 2023, just roughly 5 months apart, you would be in shock because it's not the same place. You know, it's same kids. You know, one grade removed. You know, one grade graduated, another grade came in, but the core of the students were here last year. And the fact that we can say that, you know, again, it's all a work in progress. But the fact that we can say we've had consecutive and multiple 90+% days of attendance, that kids are coming to school, conflict are minimized, students are being kind to each other and wanting to be in the classrooms, and teachers are working on their pedagogy and their teaching, and we're all learning and growing together. You know, I've had kids who are telling me, I love my school, which to me warms my heart, because again, I couldn't find many kids who said that last year, just 5 months ago. But now kids say, I love my school. I love being here. And again, this is the work. But again, if no one knows this, then it's for nothing, especially when you're possibly facing closure. So being able to have the Chancellor of New York City schools, Chancellor David Banks, come into our school, visit classrooms, and not only that, you know, as God would have it, you know, he was joined in by the Bronx Borough President, you know, Vanessa L. Gibson, who came as well, and several people from the CEC, you know, and different entities in the community were all there and walked the hallways, and they heard the story and heard my call to action to ask. It was dope, you know. And again, all of a sudden, narrative changed. And narrative changed to a space where people are like, wow, you know, there's great things happening here, you know. And I emphasize, we're still in the embryonic phase. We're still, you know, in the beginning phases of this new existence. But however, this served it served multiple purposes, because now there is the eyeballs of the things and the shifts and pivots that we've made as a school community. But now there's a higher expectation of me, my students, my staff, my parents, because now the eyeballs are on us. So it's great to be in a position now where people paying attention, people want to see you win, and they're watching. And it's funny, I know this is going to be such a cliche. Like I keep saying, I feel like we are Colorado. We are. Please, I am not Neon Dion by any means. I am not Coach Prime. But however, there's a feeling of like, wow, they're doing that. But then it's also understanding that now the expectation is much higher because everybody wants to see what's happening. What is going to be the end result of this? And this is where we are now. We're doubling down on instruction. We're asking ourselves, what is it that we need to do to really make sure that we're building that connective tissue and we're getting stronger and we're getting better at what we're doing. And the ultimate goal is no longer keeping the school open. It's no longer about turning the school around. It's about growing. It's about pushing our kids. It's about pushing our teachers and having results to say that this is the best middle school in District 7. But even better yet, in the long haul, this is the best model of what a middle school could look like. Because again, there's a lot of schools that are struggling. There are a lot of schools that are in that space of the conversation of possible closure. I want, Exploration and Discovery, MS224, to be a model so other schools, those school leaders can say, hey, we want to come see what you did and what you guys are doing so that we can borrow some things, go ahead and steal some things and implement into our repertoire, into our journey so that we can also, be the best at what we do. So these are some of the things that I've learned in this past 5 months. It's only been 5 months, so we got a whole 8 months, about 8 months or so left in the school year, and I'm hoping that I can come back to you and share results that blows beyond my imagination. Whatever I'm thinking, whatever the goals were already set, I'm hoping, and I know that the end result is going to be fantastic. All right, so I want to quickly close out by thanking, the community of Brook Ave, and that 141st, 142nd block, that whole entire community, District 7, because again, the community, the staff, the students, the parents, have been pivotal in the changes that we're experiencing right now and the growth that we're experiencing. I want to thank you, listeners, for giving me space to tell the story and continue to tell the story. Before I close, I'm going to go ahead and do that thing that I always do, that I should be doing, asking you to engage. Leave a comment. Tell me about your school journey and ask questions. And I am open book. I will share with you anything I can share with you about this journey of no longer turning the school around, but keeping the school open. I think that's powerful. We have turnaround principals and turnaround school leaders, and all of a sudden I felt like I became a keep a school open principal. And so if that could be a thing. But please engage, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for more insights on my journey as a leader, and also many other topics on this podcast. And I'm going to put this out there. If you're a school leader and you're like, man, I'm stuck, I need help, reach out. Send me, leave me a comment, direct message me. Let's jump on a call. I'm always in support of school leaders and my colleagues, regardless where you are in the country. Let's set up a coaching session. That sounds good. 15, 20, 30 minutes, and we'll talk. But again, this work that we're doing is for the betterment of our children, and I want to be of service to you as well. This should not just be a me just talking about what I've done, but also sharing with you whatever I can to help you in your journey as well. All right, folks, this is Uche Njoku. It's been a privilege. It's been a privilege to be in this space to talk to you, and I look forward to talking to you again. All right, be well, and we'll talk soon.